Hello, baby. Hello, everybody. Thank you for clicking on. It is Sunday night, the 14th day of July 2024, weekend wrap up. And it is the night before the opening of the Republican National Convention. It is the night after Trump was shot at. All right. I want to start with that. I see a lot of reports. Trump was shot. Trump was shot. Trump was shot. Trump himself saying, I was shot in the ear. Uh, Trump was shot at. Now, allegedly, he was hit by a piece of glass from a teleprompter. Um, we're going to look at a lot of things tonight. I've got a lot of new information that some of you probably have not seen yet, and we are indeed going to get to that. Um, but before, let me speak on this. Once that happened yesterday, about 6:15 ish was when I became aware of it, and the first um, the first accusations that started coming in as people were certain who had done this. Um, Joe Biden was the first thing that um, came across my channel. Biden, and then Antifa, and then illegal immigrants, um, a black person, Chinese, and finally a Jewish person was responsible for this somehow. Um, so we did a show last night, 9 o'clock. Chris joined. We talked about everything that we knew at that time. And I put some comments underneath that episode as I was getting updated through the night, including the fact that the shooter was indeed a registered Republican, a 21-year-old white male, and Matthew Thomas Crooks. Um, now, the immediate response of, again, people automatically assuming who was responsible for somebody shooting at Trump. Trump was not shot, he was shot at. There's a difference both factually and propagandally, if that's a word. If it's not, it is now. Using the difference propaganda wise by putting in somebody's head that somebody was shot as opposed to somebody was shot at. It makes a difference. Just saying. All right. Now, something else changed when that happened. A lot of things were suddenly forgotten. How old Joe Biden is suddenly forgotten. The Epstein list is suddenly forgotten. The Supreme Court rulings are suddenly forgotten. All the focus is on who is responsible for what happened to Donald Trump. Now, the title for tonight's episode, is this a black swan? I say that because we're going to show in just a few minutes General Mike Flynn talking about the black swan concept. Was this an actual assassination attempt? A supporter of Donald Trump died. Donald Trump cared so much that he went out golfing this morning. Um, so there was someone that was killed. Someone lost their life over this. Two other people in now stable condition having also been shot allegedly by Thomas Matthew Crooks. Um, I'm not making statements one way or the other about any of this. As we always do, we are just going to show you some things and give you things to think about. And again, I'm going to come over to the chat if anybody wants to jump up at the end here and talk. after I get everything wrapped up as far as the stories I've got, we'll happily do that as well. But I've been saying that one of my concerns, even before this, but one of my concerns was for violence in Milwaukee, Wisconsin at the Republican National Convention. And one of the things I've been stating was my concern for violence was because of the way it was set up, where protesters would be so close to the actual venue. Okay, that has changed and has been finalized. So let's begin there. First of all, I found this rather odd, but Milwaukee approved every uh, Republican National Committee or Republican National Convention protest request. Milwaukee approved every Republican National Convention protest request, vetoing no one, with the list including the Chinese Communist Party. Um, so basically, the list of protesting individuals and organizations signed up to take part in a parade or speaker platform during this coming Republican National Convention includes the Chinese Communist Party and former President Donald J. Trump, as the city of Milwaukee approved everyone who applied without vetting or checking identities. Um, Now, everything that's been happening is fishy to me. Everything that's been happening is questionable. This in it is in and of itself questionable. And again, my concern about violence has eased some um, because of the new locations. Protesters will now be far away from the action, as more than 50,000 Republican delegates and GOP party stalwarts descend to nominate Trump for president. Demonstrators will be kept blocks from the main convention site, relegated to an area outside of the fenced off perimeter around the complex. Now, um, I'm looking at it from a safety standpoint personally. And to me, the fact that they are away from the convention site is a good thing for safety. Now, they're going to be honked off when they find out where they are, because they're not going to be able to have much of an impact. The same thing happened in Philadelphia in 2016, in that the protesters were um, a long way away from where the convention site is. I and and I can tell you that personally because Thursday night, on the last night of the convention, I led a bunch of Bernie delegates over to where the protests were going on. Um, so this is a good thing. Now, does this mean there's not going to be violence? Absolutely not. There are going to be a number of militia groups up there. Um, it is a Second Amendment open carry state. Wisconsin is. So there will be plenty of weaponry in the streets and in the city of Milwaukee during this coming week. And there are too many people that are wanting revenge over Donald Trump getting shot at, and just seeking revenge for it without regard to whether it is justified or not, whether they are going to be taking out revenge on the right people or not. So again, a contentious situation in my personal opinion. The Secret Service finally held a press conference about 6 hours ago, and here's their response to just about every question. Okay. Secret Service says they are ready to go for the convention, which again begins tomorrow. Um, no, I'm not going to use that. Okay. There are those that have suggested um, that this was not what happened yesterday to Donald Trump was not a real assassination attempt, that it was a staged event. Um, and there are those that point to the fact that there wasn't any blood anywhere on Trump's hand when he went down, um, and that it looked like it might be something um, the WWE might do, Championship Wrestling. Um, they're known for taking a little corner of a razor blade and putting it either in their taped up wrist or somewhere, pulling it out and cutting themselves slightly on the forehead um, so that it looks like they've been really hit. And I'm sure Trump is aware of that. This is a clip of WrestleMania 23. It was called the Battle of the Billionaires. Trump's guy beat Vince McMahon's guy, and Trump got to shave Vince McMahon's head. That's kind of irrelevant. It's just he's got the experience to pull something off, such as letting somebody take a little clip off of his ear. Um, I'm not saying it happened, but after everything that this guy's done, I'm not saying it didn't either. And again, what has this guy done? Um, take a look at the Epstein list. Take a look at Katie Johnson and people that are. If you're against pedophiles, there's no way that you would ever support this guy. I mean, there's more pedophile information on this guy than there are a lot of convicted pedophiles that are getting protested. I'm just saying. All right. Um, now, one more thing here as we draw towards our Twitter scroll. This is from the Today Show, and from the Today Show this morning. I want to show a couple of things. Now, they're saying that Trump was not hit by a bullet. He's saying he was hit by a bullet, but the medical people are saying it was actually glass from a teleprompter. All right. Remember, I'm talking, I've already brought up the championship wrestling thing and taking a piece out of his own ear, or somebody taking a slight piece out of his ear, which is an area that bleeds pretty good. If you look at the teleprompter here, Trump is already on the ground, and the teleprompter does not appear to be shattered, broken, damaged. Now, this is again from the Today Show, but I've looked at a lot of different views. I cannot see one where there's any kind of impact from a um, bullet to this teleprompter, and it's just something that adds to the potential. I'm sorry, it's getting really hot in here. I apologize, but um, it just adds to the potential of the idea of a conspiracy theories, the idea that this was indeed staged, the idea that they knew that Trump would gain in popularity with with his base and with the undecided if something were to happen like this. I think he picked up 3 points. So um, two things. One, teleprompter, we've already talked about. The second thing, this guy right back here, this guy right back here, um, not only does he just stand there as if he knows everything's okay, um, he is also the guy they claim is John F. Kennedy Jr. and is going to be announced as Trump's running mate uh, during the convention. And uh, I don't know. I don't know. All right. Speaking of JFK Jr. during the convention running mate, let's start out with this lady who, in all appearances, is kind of normal. But let's listen. That was me. I said I believed it was going to be Barron Trump because if you're going to have a dictatorship, you've got to have a successor. No, no, no. A new Declaration of Independence? No age restriction in the Declaration of Independence on how old you can be? Um, the age, minimum age, is in the Constitution, not the Declaration of Independence, for those that don't know. Um, like this lady, we're in trouble. You know, I used to think we had a really intelligent country. There are a lot of smart people in the country, and um, a lot of good people in the country. Just saying. I don't think that way anymore. Okay. Again, what do you think? Uh, I'm sorry, I didn't. Let me replay this because I don't think I showed it, and we really need to see it. I'm not sure I pressed the right button there. So, but regardless, this is worth a second look.
So there's been a lot of talk about Trump's running mate for vice president. I made a video that I believe I said that it's going to be JFK Jr. And why do I say that? Because some of us know that he's still alive. You can believe me, don't have to believe me, but I believe it's going to be JFK Jr. Now, somebody came up with something else that was very interesting, in my opinion. Somebody said that they believe it was going to be Barron Trump. I never thought about that one. That's definitely possible. Some are also saying that it's going to be Donald Trump Jr. Some are also saying it might be Ben Carson. Vivek is also a running. They're thinking, but I was told that Trump had said that his pick is going to shock the world. I don't think Carson or Vivek or General Flynn, I don't think any of those would shock the world. Barron Trump, on the other hand, might shock the world. And don't say that, oh, he can't be it because he's too young, because apparently there's a new Declaration of Independence and there's no age restriction on this new declaration.
There's not a new Declaration of Independence. Um, Again, the age limits as far as minimum age, there's no maximum age. Minimum, you have to be 34 to be a congressman, to be a senator, and it's in the Constitution. It's not in the Declaration of Independence. Again, I used to think we had a really smart country. Of course, the other night I showed you the top 25 countries in the world based on IQ, and the United States wasn't in the top 25. Um, I used to think we had a smart country and we had a really good. There were really good people here, and there are. We do have smart people, and we have really good people, but not near as many as I ignorantly thought.
So that goes out the window. Who do you think it's going to be? Because I think we're going to be seeing JFK Jr. soon, which is going to be exciting. That means we're going to see others too, like Princess Diana, Michael Jackson, all these people that we thought were dead. Elvis, Marilyn Monroe. Mm-hmm. Just wait.
Okay, and and what happens? What happens with these people when that doesn't happen? What happens when Elvis doesn't come back and all this? There's no JFK Jr. because he was killed in a plane crash. Um, I don't know. It just it boggles the mind how some people think. Hang on just a second. I want to get back up here to where we're going to start for this evening. We've already started some incredible stuff. Secret Service finally held a press conference this afternoon and basically said we can't talk about anything other than we aren't going to make any changes, um, which I don't know if you watched last night's episode. If you didn't, Chris was on and gave his expertise on a lot of things. Chris, a former Washington, D.C. police officer, former Department of Defense, anti-terrorism and security um, trainer, trained by Mossad. Um, Watch the episode. We talked about a lot of the things that the Secret Service did wrong, the United States Secret Service, and they just don't do things wrong. Um, but the way everything was handled yesterday is so incredibly questionable now. And I mentioned last night it was who done it. Now we know who did it. It was Matthew Thomas or Thomas Matthew Crooks that did it. But what motivated him, being a 20-year-old Republican who had a Second Amendment T-shirt on? This is Ivan Ranklin, a guy we've talked
Kill
about.
him. That's best case scenario.
We talked about for a while here. And this is Ivan Ranklin. I played this about 4 months ago when it first aired, when Alex Jones was still on the air with InfoWars. And let's give this a listen.
And this is a message directly to every single person on the deep state target list. My assessment, Ivan Ranklin's assessment, that if you assassinate any political presidential candidate, whether it's RFK, whether it's Trump, guess what? America will do the following immediately. They will respond in kind, and they know who you are because we've created the list. So if you
And that's a major Rubicon. They should know that.
Immediately, you're going to see immediate response. And there are only a few buildings in Washington, D.C. that they will probably do that.
Well, I hope that's not the case, but these people are crazy.
And having said that, if they do that, option 2 behind Trump is going to be so much better for us and
Listen closely for what's coming next.
so much worse.
I was about to say, if they kill him, that's best case scenario from a sick level. From a sick level beating him, oh, please kill him, which I don't.
When I said last night that there were those in the MAGA movement that did not feel Trump was radical enough, he was too much of a centrist, I got some emails from it. Listen.
I mean, but it's so good after that.
Oh, it's going to be the.
I apologize for interrupting. Let's go back and listen again.
Sick level. From a sick level beating him, oh, please kill him, which I don't. I mean, but it's so good after that.
Oh, it's going to be the best cleansing and the fastest cleansing that we've ever seen in my lifetime. I assess with almost certainty, with the highest level of confidence, that if they assassinate Trump, it is so game over for them, and it's going to be so fast.
Again, Ivan Ranklin, Alex Jones. We're going to hear again from both, actually. Now, this just adds to the side of the list that said this was all staged. 1 hour before the rally, Trump sent this out to his email list. All hell breaks loose in 1 hour. Trump rally alert. When I take the stage, I could be making a major announcement that's sure to strike fear into the hearts of our deep state enemies. So before my rally kicks off in 60 minutes, I need to know, will you be tuning in? Normally, he asks for money at this bottom spot. He wants to make sure everybody's watching. Just adds again. Again, this was 1 hour before his rally, released to all of his email. This is a picture of Thomas Matthew Crooks, male, Republican. He was trying to start a civil war today by taking out his own candidate. They do love anarchy, and these right-wing militias is the context there. This is a questionable picture. Why is Trump smiling after, if I just cheated death and I didn't know for sure there was a second shooter, which we're going to get to. Why is he so happy? A lot of people think this might have been staged. What do you think? They have merch ready. Trump 1, Democrats 0. There haven't been any Democrats, no attempted assassinations of Democrats this year. So I guess that's what was meant by 1-0. We got some more merch coming that they seem to have ready. People are suddenly, the far right is suddenly appalled by politically motivated violence. Again, just just something to think about. We've got to stop the violence, the right is saying now. The man who shot at Trump was a registered Republican and NRA member. He used an AR-15, the same weapon that Republicans protect. He was wearing a Demolition Ranch shirt. As I said, he was wearing a 2A shirt. Don't be surprised when you create violence and insanity and it ends up pointed at you. That's the bottom line of this, is the whole reason for me highlighting this. Just something to think about. It's the old karma, the old boomerang. The shooter was a registered Republican. You want to lower the temperature? That's what Republicans are saying now. Maybe start with Republican Christmas cards. They seem kind of murdery. Let's just look at Lorena Booberts and little Uzi, little Israeli Uzi for the little girl. Jeez, I don't know. Um, to me, this is not Christian. This is not Christmas. Uh, but MAGA has a different kind of Christianity than the rest of us. I hope we are aware of that. Sadly, this is a this is a picture of the person that lost their life yesterday. Um, if this was staged, if this was a political theater stunt, um, and this person lost their life because of it, now because this person lost their life does not mean it was not, because we've already shown. Trump hasn't even said the guy's name, let alone offered condolences. He went golfing. He went golfing, and they're showing that as a sign of strength, and it's a sign of incredible narcissism, in my opinion. But this is 50-year-old Corey Compatore, and sadly, former firefighter, chief of the fire department in the area, um, was killed protecting his daughter after hearing the shots start to be fired. What is this? Um, a reminder again, as soon as this happened, I started hearing that this was being done, that Biden was responsible. Then Antifa was responsible. Then had to be an illegal immigrant that did this. Then it had to be a black person. Then it had to be a Chinese person. Then it had to be a Jewish person. Um, the levels of hate are possibly displayed, and the hate is based on fear and ignorance and manipulation. Um, but it's definitely there. We still don't know who the pipe bomber is officially, and that happened almost 4 years ago. Now, for those that say, why would they blame
sympathetic. I know all the people.
this is Nick Fuentes, one of Trump's former staunchest supporters, who is now threatening not to vote for Trump and have all of his, I don't know how many followers he has, but however many he has, he's going to tell them not to vote for Trump.
I know all the people on the Trump team that are with us. I know all the people that are ideologically sympathetic. I know all the people that are on side. They feel exactly the same way as I do. They feel exactly the same way. Many of them are borderline considering quitting politics because of their experience with Trump. And they see that it is the same game that we played in the first term, which is battling the Jews in the White House, battling the neocons, battling the Israel firsters. I think the Groypers are going to withhold the votes. It's going to be a close election. If he can go to the Libertarian convention, then he can give something to the Groypers. If he wants to go for the Libertarians to get 1% of the vote and they had a convention with 1,000 people, well, then he can earn our vote as well. And I don't like what I see. I know all.
Okay, so again, the hate for the Jewish people is very real among many of the conservative movement. Um, okay, this is another MAGA talking point shot down the drain. They came out and said, "Oh my gosh, this guy is a Democrat because he gave to Act Blue." Act Blue is the major Democratic fundraising site. But the Thomas Crooks, who donated $15 to Act Blue, is a 69-year-old Democrat, lives in Pittsburgh, just happens to have the same name. Again, this Thomas Matthew Crooks, was a registered Republican before his demise. Um, my friend, the Lakota man, brings this up. Blood does not coagulate that fast. And if you look really close, it looks like it's just there's a little bitty clip, like a little razor blade clip right here, that where all the blood comes from. And he's obviously wiped it down his face, not in his hair. It's not on his shirt. Or is it one of those little capsule things that just got popped right here? Um, if you are one that thinks this might have been staged, then that may be something that you might consider happened. Um, they had trading cards ready. Donald Trump assassination attempt trading cards. Get your trading cards. Get your T-shirts. Somebody shot at Donald Trump, and we are going to make as much money on it as possible. America. All right. Seconds before the shooter at yesterday's campaign rally began to shoot, local police officer climbed the ladder onto the roof that Crooks was on to investigate a report of a possible shooter. Um, One officer climbed to the roof and encountered Crooks, who pointed his rifle at the officer. The officer retreated down the ladder, and Crooks quickly took a shot towards President Trump, and that's when the U.S. Secret Service counter sniper shot him. So, according to this, Crooks only took one shot before he was, um, before the threat was eliminated. And it's just going to add to all of this. Um, and if he only took one shot, this person says Trump gets hit with a BB gun or pellet shot. No one in the crowd even moves. The sound is very weak. Staged or not, this was not a quote unquote assassination attempt. Again, I'm showing you these things because this is what's out there. There are a lot of people that think this is not a real deal. And don't be surprised if, okay, Ronald Reagan, when Reagan was shot, it was a real deal and a lot of sympathy. Uh, this is not going to be the giant thing that puts a nail into the coffin of the Democratic Party and Trump rides straight into the White House. That is not what this is. That um, they're going to play it like this. The media is playing it like this, but if you look at the public's not buying it, and I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Just said, take a look at what happened.
Okay, listen to it. Sounds like a 22 long rifle at best. It doesn't sound like an AR-15. The first shots that are heard. I'll be quiet so you can hear them.
Just said, take a look at what happened.
Right there, right before he goes. Okay, right before he goes up to his ear, you heard the shots. Now listen to the shots of the sniper rifle.
Just said, take a look at what happened.
I don't know. I don't think it was a BB gun or a pellet gun. Honestly, um, I don't think he got shot in the ear with a round from an AR-15. And this picture also, as the others, shows the teleprompter intact. So, what happened? What happened? Now this is the shooter. He's in a BlackRock commercial at 4 seconds and at 19 seconds, and BlackRock is the largest investment security company in the world with like $14 trillion. Um, Odd connection. This is the time that I have to get up and go to the bathroom and take a small pause.
Mistake of looking at Elon's
And I'm
ex.
going to let you listen to what this lady has to say because she's not hard on the eyes. And she gives us some things to think about.
Well, folks, I tried. I really did. I managed to squeeze out some genuine empathy for Orangina, and I thought I did a pretty good job. And then I made the mistake of looking at Elon's ex, and I remembered why the right is not compatible with empathy. And then I remembered Paul Pelosi getting hit over the head with a hammer and mocked by Schlumper and Company. I remembered the image of bound, gagged, and hog-tied Joe Biden that Schlumper tweeted to the world. I remembered the assassination threats against Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer and how 1 in 6 election officials have experienced threats because of their job, ranging from death threats that named officials young children to racist and gendered harassment by the right. I remembered MTG calling for the execution of Barack Obama and Paul Gosar posting an animated video depicting him unaliving AOC. I remembered the far right's violence against minority communities in Charleston, Pittsburgh, El Paso, Buffalo, Jacksonville, etc., etc., etc. I remembered Trump calling for people at his rallies to be harmed and how he wanted to shoot protesters in the legs. And of course, I remembered January 6th and how all our lawmakers' lives were in grave danger and our Capitol Police were pummeled and traumatized for Trump's adrenaline rush of vengeance for a country that kicked him to the curb. I remembered E. Jean and dozens of women who faced violence at Trump's own hands. And then I caught wind of J.D. Vance and all the wannabe up Trump's ass peanut gallery, who waited about 2.5 seconds before claiming that Joe Biden's campaign rhetoric led directly to President Trump's attempted assassination. And Representative Mike Collins going one step further, claiming Biden sent the orders. I remembered Lock Her Up and knock the crap out of them, and good people on both sides. And when the looting starts, the shooting starts, and stand back and stand by. And I remembered that between 2013 and 2022, 75% of murders committed by extremists were caused by right-wing extremists, with only 4% caused by left-wing extremists. Of course, I don't advocate, celebrate, or condone violence. That's what the other side does. But I draw the line at feeling compassion for a man who we all know would be making a joke about the shooter having poor aim if this had happened to Joe Biden. I'm not going to go down the road with all the conspiracy theorists.
I got to say, I think, Trump would have made a joke like, where's Lee Harvey Oswald when we need him? If it had been the other way around. Biden handled it like you would expect a traditional president to handle such a situation.
Although I find it baffling that his security team is so incompetent. And for the life of me, I don't understand how a man who was just shot at was able to stick his head above the Secret Service human shield that was huddled around him right after the shooting, so he could
Talked about
fist
that
pump
last
the
night.
air and encourage his voters to fight. You'd think the folks who are supposed to be experts at protecting the president's noggin would have been a little uncomfortable with giving the shooter a second chance at blowing it to smithereens. Folks, I think we all know what's in store.
Okay, I want to reiterate what she just said. You would think that the the folks that are responsible for saving the president's noggin would have wanted to eliminate a second shot. Um, and and in pointing that out, the pushback was they yelled, "The shooter's down! The shooter's down!" Does that mean they knew there was only one shooter and he was safe? Yeah, wouldn't think so. Wouldn't think they'd automatically assume there was only one shooter and let him stand up and get his shoes and pose for pictures and photo ops and normally I was told normally they want the protectee expedited out of there within 20 seconds. And you can watch the tapes for yourself and see that that's not what happened. Um, did they know there was only one shooter? Because that's the pushback I've been getting. Well, the shooter was down. The shooter was down, so he was safe. Really? I just don't think that's how the Secret Service works. I don't.
Or for us, we're going to see the biggest misuse of martyrdom there ever was. We're going to see mediocre men marinating in victimhood, tossing out thinly veiled calls for retribution and dog whistle after dog whistle for MAGA minions to avenge the radical left. Joe
And that's what I think. That's why I fear this coming convention. So close to this incident. Um, the dog whistle's already there. The calls for violence have started immediately.
Biden will be painted as a cunning force of evil, at least when he can remember where he is and when to take his Alzheimer's meds. It's going to be torture. Absolute freaking torture.
No.
And instead of talking about the corroborated testimony of young girls who were allegedly violated at the hands of the depraved sociopath who happens to be the Republican nominee, we're going to hear about a cult leader victim who bravely gave the tip of his ear to save racism everywhere. Yeah. Well, all I can say is I'm going to be sure to remember all the folks who feared for their safety because of Orangina Pervilicious Felonious Schlumper McPhee's thin-skinned rhetoric over the years. And I'm going to remind the bad actors that malevolent men don't get to turn victimhood into victory. Yeah.
Again, as we always do, giving you just a little something to think about as we make our way through the X scroll for the night. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for those in chat. I told you we had some more Alex Jones. We do. I'm going to get back over into the chat in just a few minutes. We are getting really close to wrapping up the X scroll, but let's listen to Big Al Jones.
So Trump is in maximum danger of poisoning, truck bombs. The globalists might hijack a plane by remote control flight into Mar-a-Lago. I'm not being alarmist, and I know Trump's tough and has ice water in his veins, but Trump should be in a bunker at this point. So
yeah, because he was in a bunker when Black Lives Matters protesters were outside the fence at the White House when he was President Trump. Globalists might hijack a plane by remote control and fly it into Mar-a-Lago. Okay. Now, keep in mind, this guy's also the guy that was fantasizing that how great it would be if Trump was dead because Mike Flynn would be the MAGA leader and the world would be great. Again, just if you doubt me, if you didn't hear it before,
Ivan Raiklan, what happens if they steal it again? Or what happens if they kill Trump?
That's what I was going to get to. The most dangerous course of action, right? That's the most.
I mean, what does that do? I mean,
I will say
they've turned him into literally Obi-Wan Kenobi.
If they do that, option 2 behind Trump is going to be so much better for us and so much worse.
Well, I was about to say, if they kill him, that's best case scenario from a sick level beating him. Oh, please kill him, which but it's so good after that.
Oh, it's going to be the best cleansing and the fastest cleansing that we've ever seen in my lifetime. I assess
he doesn't talk in the tense of if this were to happen. He talks as if when this happens. Listen to Ivan.
That we've ever seen in my lifetime. I assess with almost certainty, with the highest level of confidence, that if they assassinate Trump, it is so game over for them, and it's going to be so fast.
I'm actually scared of that, though. It's so explosive.
It is. That's why, it's a warning to them, right? If they cross the Rubicon, you saw how popular he was. By just prosecuting.
When I get close to the zeitgeist,
keep in mind, the leader of the Heritage Foundation said last week that we are in the middle of a second revolution, and it will be bloodless as long as the left doesn't interfere, basically.
It's not a pussy thing. I start getting tears because my brain goes in overdrive. And when I start hearing about Trump being sassy, I start literally, because my brain is like.
No, I've thought through this. You think through this. It's a chess game, right? Second, third, fourth move, fifth move. And if they do that, it's.
Well, I pray for Trump not to be killed.
It's going to accelerate.
If they're dumb enough to kill him, though, they have literally handed us total victory.
So, which begs the question. I'm going to ask you this question, Alex. Who then takes the reign if they do that to Trump?
I don't know.
I just think that General Flynn becomes the inevitable leader.
Oh, General
of the
Flynn,
movement.
obviously. Yeah.
It's inevitable
Yeah.
if they do that. So think about it. Trump's probably going to be better for them. Because if General Flynn, I mean, think about it. The people that General Flynn would bring into the administration,
The globalists are all going to
Russians.
prison.
People General Flynn would bring in are Russians. Now, I want to make something really clear. Ivan Ranklin is not a Trump loyalist. Okay? He has no loyalties to Trump. He is a former Green Beret. He has loyalties to Mike Flynn, his former commander. That's where Reikland's loyalties lie, not to Trump, but to Mike Flynn. And if something does happen to Trump, it will be from somebody like this, or as we saw, if indeed it was real, the Republican 20-year-old white male that tried to kill Trump is influenced by people talking the talk, this rhetoric right here. It's not Joe Biden's rhetoric. We got to keep pushing back against these things. The truth really does matter, and the truth is going to get lost in so much over this next week. Um, Again, a local police officer found the Trump gunman but retreated down the ladder after the suspect pointed the rifle at him. According to the Associated Press, the suspect was discovered by an officer who retreated, allowing the suspect to fire at Trump. I don't think this is the. Okay, this footage, you can see him up here in the prone position. The gun is not pointed in Trump's direction at that point. Now, I've got another video. I've got another angle coming up. While Secret Service is under scrutiny, including by us, Washington Post has learned that Secret Service Saturday's rally relied heavily on borrowing local police for its specialized tactical units that are meant to help spot and take out an assailant. Again, just adding to the possibility that there were some people replaced because there were some Secret Service people that weren't going to go along with this charade. Charade. Are we really surprised it was a Republican crime? Here's an ad from Sid Miller, Texas Agriculture Commission. This primary season, I'm going on a rhino hunt. Join me. At some point, you reap what you sow. Biden spoke earlier on Trump's shooting, again condemning it, being a respectful president as you would expect, and without a major faux pas in delivering his remarks. Let's see what Tim Burchett says. I think he's going to blame it on either a black person or a woman.
Same thing. How the hell did he get on top of that roof? If you look at the pictures, he didn't go through the top of the roof. There had to be a ladder or something. Somebody really dropped the ball. You've got a DEI, basically, a DEI initiative person who heads up our Secret Service. She was working at Pepsi before this. I know she was a former Secret Service agent, but still, this is what happens when you don't put the best players in. It's a complete failure on our part. And as I talked to Chairman Comer last night, I stressed with him, everybody wants to follow the rules. We got a 72-hour rule before we have a, can go a hearing. Speaker Pelosi never followed the rules. She suspended him our first day of Congress. We need to get to Washington, to hell with the convention. We've got to find out what went on, make sure that it never happens again.
So, Congressman, what do you want?
There we go. This is a look again. Here's where the sniper was. Here's where Secret Service counter sniper team 1 was. Here's where Trump was. Counter sniper team 2 from the Secret Service was approximately here on this third barn. Again, there are so few buildings in this area. Why weren't these nearby buildings covered? Just one of many questions. And again, according to their press conference, the Secret Service isn't going to make any changes. All right. I said we'd hear from Mike Flynn, the person that I said, do not be surprised that if Trump does something really outside the box. I said I was talking about this last week. Now it's in the QAnon realm somehow that he picks Barron Trump if he's going to be a dictator. He doesn't pick anybody, or he is forced to pick Mike Flynn at the threat of assassination.
I don't raise my voice that much, but when I do, it means that we are moving to, as Alex just said, we're moving towards the sound of the guns here, folks. And the sound of the guns is freedom. We are going to move towards freedom, but we have got to understand that we are in a place, and I don't raise my voice that much, but when I do, it means that we are moving to, as Alex just said, we're moving towards the sound of the guns here, folks. And the sound of the guns is freedom.
Okay. Take that for what you wish. A little bit of humor. We got to have some humor. We got to have a little bit of lightheartedness. And I love bears. Bears is my nickname. My sister, who passed away recently, was the one that originally gave me that name. All my family and friends call me that. But this is a bear possibly looking for the light switch in the bathroom in the middle of the night. Yeah. All right. Again, you got to have a little break, a little bit of relief from all of this. And we do indeed have plenty of this. This is from one of the shooter's classmates. Singafus did not recall Crooks making political overtures in class, but rather as someone interested in how government works. Another former classmate, Max R. Smith, recalled taking an American history course with Crooks. He did recall Crooks making political statements, but they shed no light on his actions. He definitely was conservative. It makes me wonder why he would carry out an assassination attempt on the conservative candidate. Smith recalled a mock debate in which their history professor posed government policy questions and asked students to stand on one side of the classroom or the other to signal their support or opposition for a given proposal. The majority of the class were on the liberal side, but Tom, no matter what, always stood his ground on the conservative side. That's still the picture I have of him, just standing alone on one side while the rest of the class was on the other. And it's reported he was bullied repeatedly. And this is our final story of the night. Came in kind of late. This will show the shooter crawling on the roof of the building.
He was doing the job. I wouldn't even be doing this. I'd be at some beautiful place with the boarders, ocean.
Look, they're all pointing.
The Atlantic, maybe the Pacific.
Yeah, someone's on top of the roof. Look. There he is right there. Right there, see him? He's laying down. See him?
Yeah, he's laying down.
And son, I'm here with you fighting like hell to get a Senate.
What's happening?
And to make sure we take back the White House, because if we do, we're going to make America better than ever before. We're going to make it.
Yeah, look.
And it's
There he
not
is.
easy, because we have millions and millions of people in our country that shouldn't be here. Dangerous people, criminals. We have criminals. We have drug dealers. We have people that should not be here.
Right on the roof.
It's much tougher than it happens.
You went right on the roof, big guy.
He was doing the job.
Again, a lot of questions. A lot of questions about what happened yesterday. And I want to reiterate, Donald Trump was shot at. He was not shot. There's a difference factually and with propaganda. You hear differently. If somebody is shot, that means a bullet penetrated them. That's not what happened. He was shot at. I'm not saying getting shot at's a good thing. I've been shot at. Neither one of them are good things. There's a big difference. A lot more pain in getting shot than getting shot at. That's one of the big differences. Hold on just a second. I want to look for one more thing here before I hop over to the chat. I thought I had it saved, but running through the scroll, either I scrolled over it or I don't, or didn't have it. Here we go. This is what I want to end on. As far as possibly the most, where did that go? Wait a minute. Come on. All right. I want you to look at this picture. And again, thank you all for being here. Greatly appreciate you being here. We're talking about Black Swan. Black Swan event is an unforeseen event that drastically changes history. Is that what was attempted? Was this real? Was this staged? Since he's a Republican, was he acting upon rhetoric that he had heard from people like Alex Jones, like Michael Flynn, like Ivan Ranklin? Questions we're asking, and I want this image to get out here, and I want to know why these alleged Secret Service people are all three of them are laughing and smiling. At least one person is in the bleachers behind them with a bullet wound in the head. Two other people shot. This is supposed to be an assassination attempt. Why are these three Secret Service people smiling? It's the same Secret Service people we've seen in the other pictures, including the one where Trump looks like he might be doing a Sig Heil. Those pictures are out there. The only one you see is the one him directly under the flag, and it's almost like a staged op. Why are they laughing? Why are they laughing? If they know there's only one shooter and he's been killed already because it was all staged, they can laugh and smile because they're all safe. If they knew there was a second shooter, or they knew, if you should suspect there might be a second shooter, and get him the hell off the stage and not pause for pictures or to get his shoes, or to yell fight, fight, fight to the crowd, dog whistling. Why are they smiling? Because they think they got away with it. Maybe. We know that are these real, are these the real Secret Service, or are these the replacements that the Washington Post wrote about and said that there wasn't enough Secret Service, they had to have some replacements? Said on the sniper team, but maybe it's on his personal detail, or they rehearsed all this. I'm just alleging. I'm just putting stuff out there for you to think about, because it does not add up. And with that being said, I'm going to hop over and say hi. Shelly G, he got hit in the ear, Barry. Uh, according to who, Shelly? And with what? Got hit with what? Have you seen an AR-15 shell? If that's what he got hit with, um, his ear would have been a lot worse. The reports are, including medical from the medical facilities, that it was a glass shard. But yet, the what's it called that he reads off? Teleprompter. In all the videos I've seen, the teleprompter is not damaged. These are just facts. I don't know what happened. What I do know is it isn't adding up. Do a fact check. Reuters saying the pictures are fake. Okay. Thanks, Shield. Yeah, everything's going to be fake. Nothing but fake news and AI from here on out. What you say, true? Thank you for being here. Hello, D. If y'all can answer all the questions I brought up, good on you. But if not, well, it really isn't going to matter, because those that are MAGA are going to believe what they believe. We've already seen that. John F. Kennedy Jr., all the absolute bizarre craziness. And that is not going to change. Those people are not going to change. If you're one of those people, I'm sorry for you. I really do. I feel sorry for you. I know you don't understand that. And you're probably giving me the finger and saying F off. But my gosh, the delusion, the lack of knowledge, just lack of basic history and knowledge, the lack of how things work. It's just, it's too much for me at sometimes, and this is one of those times. I really hope nothing happens tomorrow at the convention in Milwaukee. My concern is there are going to be those that want to seek revenge for um, for the incident, whether it was staged or whether it was real. There are going to be those that want to take revenge, and they are not going to care who the revenge is taken out on, because it's not the perpetrator. He's dead. That doesn't matter. And that's a sad state. All right. Love y'all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I'll be back probably tomorrow night. Should be on every night this coming week with the convention, but I don't know. It all depends how things play out. Thanks for being here. Love y'all like chocolate chip cookies. God bless each and every one of you, unless you're a pedophile or a pedophile supporter. May God have mercy on the United States of America. It's a dark world. Try to be a light. Thanks for watching.